So we're going to be moving into actual organizational development intervention strategies, basically moving into stage 4 of the OD's 5 stages. So we're going to start very broadly. So what are we needing to consider as we actually move forward on interventions? And again, just as a reminder, we're wanting to do research, we're wanting to have it evidence-based, and we're wanting to be effective. And kind of what's the big picture? And then we're going to spend a lot of time talking about specific types of OD interventions. So again, we're moving from the diagnostic phase of making sure we understand what the problem is and basically having pre-test objective measures and subjective measures to determine what was the status quo on organizational objectives or outcomes so that we have something to compare the hopefully positive effects of the intervention. We're now moving into stage 4, the action plan, strategies, and techniques that we're going to use to actually create change in an organization. So organizational change, the starting point for any change program is to define the total change strategy. So what is needing to be changed, what interventions or specific programs are going to be implemented over what time period. So we're really talking about a lot of project management at this point. And an organizational development strategy is a plan for integrating different activities at different times to accomplish the objectives, and broadly can be broken down into structural, technical, and behavioral goals. So the creation of a change strategy is usually thinking about what is the total timeline for the change. Is this happening in days, weeks, or months? And what are the specific interventions? And each one, is it affecting a structural, a technical, or a behavioral change? When is it being implemented? What is being done to implement it? And when would it be considered to be successful? So developing a strategy includes planning each and every activity and also to anticipate and resolve difficulties, building on the strengths that the organization already has. I'm now going to talk briefly just about what the different 3 major types of change are: structural, technical, and behavioral. So a structural approach to change is it's relating anything that's relating elements of the organization to one another. So it's removing or adding layers to the hierarchy, downsizes associated with restructuring. Changes can also involve the decentralization or centralization of decision-making power, and also just generally management structures. So anything that's actually changing the organizational chart, if you will, on a broad level, or how actual management interacts with the direct employees, so direct supervision is being changed. That's usually considered a structural change. A technical approach to change is any changes in machinery, methods, automation, job design. So we're not changing the structure of the organization. For example, we're not moving from single salespeople working with a client list to teams of salespeople working on a group list. Those have stayed the same, but we are changing how the job is done with the methods, with the job design. So individual jobs may be redesigned. We're bringing organization hopefully to the state of the art, whether that state of the art is mechanical or technological, or whether that state of art is individual processes. So basically, we're helping the company become more productive, but we're looking at individual differences. And finally, there's the behavioral approach to change. It emphasizes better utilization of human resources by improving morale, motivation, commitment. So a change that's actually changing the cultural norms or the culture of an organization, that would be a behavioral change. OD traditionally is associated with behavioral strategies. So a lot of our behavioral strategies may be building on top of technical or structural changes, but we're also almost always including a behavioral aspect to whatever change we're doing, recognizing that a structural change will affect the morale, motivation, and commitment of the people that are working at the company, and that we also need interventions to make sure that we are reducing the impact on those of the other changes that we're doing, whether they're structural or technical.